A motion by Helmut.
Welcome to Minutes by Minute. I'm Elgin Nickel.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we're here to talk about what goes on in your village, township, and those government people that make laws and regulations that affect you out there.
That's right, Elgin. And whether you live in the village of Oxford, the village of Leonard, Oxford Township, or Addison Township, these are the people that you went and elected. And the commissions and the committees that make decisions that directly affect you, whether you chose to go to that really important meeting or not. And the result can be a taxing
Situation.
right.
Very much so.
That's right.
Yep. And like David said, if you don't attend, there's all kinds of things that can happen. And one of those things is humor. And it kind of floats to the top or sinks to the bottom, but it's there, right?
That's right. But
Yep.
like I said, if you don't attend that critical meeting, the laugh could be on you.
Right. Well, I kind of nickname David here the digger because he digs for the humor and it doesn't take him long to find it.
No.
No.
And he digs for the Ruma.
Yeah. Well, that, that's kind of
Come on,
controversial.
take possession.
Can't do
Own
that.
it, own it.
No, can't do that. The other thing that happens here, though, is very good. It's from a standpoint that it's a less lengthy presentation than they have at the meeting.
We're giving you the Reader's Digest version. But if you choose to go to see that meeting in its entirety, should you not have gone to it originally, you can go to our website, OCCTV.org. Click on programs. Everything is in reverse date order, easy to find. And you can even tunnel down with a little drop-down menu. Say you just want to go to Oxford Township. Bing, there it is.
Hey, you're right. And those meetings actually remain out there for some time, don't they?
Yeah, we keep them on for about 400 days.
400 days? Okay. 401 days, gone.
Evaporated.
Okay, very good. Well, let's talk about a couple of meetings that occurred just a few days ago. One is the Oxford Township Zoning Board of Appeals meeting, held on November 4th. The other one was held on November 5th, which was the Village of Oxford Planning Commission meeting. Both meetings were rather interesting, we think.
Load them up.
Yeah, we will. Okay, the Oxford Township Zoning Board of Appeals. Bailey serves on that board. Butler, Knoll, Payne, Walters, and Birch is a alternate. And they had a quorum, and of course they made the pledge to the flag. The agenda was approved for November 4th, and the minutes for August 12th, 2019 were also approved. Public comments, non-agenda item. Nobody wanted to comment.
All right.
So here we go again. You're moving along, yes. Regular business, 525 North Lapeer Road. A company called Rosetta Building Company, and they represent Culver's.
Oh,
Okay, rings a bell there now, huh?
they're the ones that
Ding,
are
ding.
going up by Tractor Supply.
Yes, right next door to them. And they had three issues, and pretty much all the issues were involving signage for the new building that they propose. Let me see the actual location. I'm trying to think. Actually, it's owned by Anthony Kalea, and he lives on Forbes Street out of Chesterfield, Michigan.
Oh,
And he's the owner of the property. Property location we're talking about is C2, which is general commercial. Yep. And they're asking for a special land use for that property. It's going to be a drive-in restaurant, not drive-in, drive-through,
right.
around.
And sit
about,
down.
About.
That's one of its functions, but set down is also one.
It is there, yes it is, okay. And they're asking for a variance request for the sign approval. And there's three signs that they're actually concerned with. One is the board sign, the menu board sign.
Is that electric?
It'd be electric. And the menu board sign, of course, you can see it any of the drive-throughs like McDonald's and so forth.
Oh, this is the one where you go through the back
Yep.
of the place and the little menu that's there. Yeah.
Right. And one of the concerns that this company has is that the government now requires that you put the calories, of the kind of food that you're putting out.
Oh,
And so it takes up more room. So they were requesting a larger sign, back there.
or smaller fonts.
Yeah. They give everybody a small set of little binoculars. Okay. No, they probably don't do that. We can spread that rumor.
Uh-huh.
Right. Okay. Freestanding sign also, and according to the ordinance, it's too tall in what they request, so they've already been to the planning commission, and they said, no, you can't come here, you can't do that, not gonna happen, no. So
Too
it goes
big, too close
ZBA.
to the road. I don't know.
Yeah, all this, yeah, you've heard all the verbiage before. So anyway, they have a script, and I think they just turn on the recorder and they just play it back to you. And then they send you to the ZBA, Zoning Board of Appeals.
Here's your setback, here's your square footage. Bop, 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 bop.
Here you are, yep. Unless you can't make it work, we don't want to see you back here, okay?
And it better not be, if it's electric, it better not be too distracting.
Right. And they're talking about wall signage on this. They're going to have a sign in a script form on the front of the building and on each side of the building. So, 3 signs.
I would guess that is pretty much what they've got down on FM24,
Yep.
down by the palace.
I think you're right. I think that's somewhat the way it's going to look. And they were complaining that their sign wouldn't be seen, the road sign, because of the Tractor Supply sign next to them. You know, it's too tall, or it's taller than what their sign would be, and by the time people realize that Culver's is there, they will have whizzed right on by. And because of the way the road is designed, there's no turnabouts or any way that they can now turn around and come back. So they were voicing that concern.
They can, but
They can't. They have to
Take
drive
a
around
while.
the village for a while. Yeah, go down the street, take a couple of turns, come back, take another couple of turns, come back. Anyway, so that's the way that would work, and they kind of pointed that out, the spokesperson that was there. And the person that did the speaking for Culver's, his name is Andrew Zaleski, and very knowledgeable about the property, of course, which he has to be to stand in front of the Zoning Board of Appeals, because you know the Zoning Board of Appeals, they're actually the legal part of what the community is. They make the final decision, and they can deviate, you know, from what would be the ordinance based on.
so basically they've
various
been through the planning commission.
They've been through
And the
there.
planning commission has said, but.
No, they said, no, not going to happen. No,
So they go here.
Right, so they go here. And they do recommend it from the planning commission that they go to ZBA if they don't get their way here, and the final decision is made by the Zoning Board of Appeals. Actually, in a sense, that's not really completely true, because if they don't agree with the Zoning Board of Appeals, the petitioner, they can actually take it then to, I believe, Circuit Court, and they can
Oh.
put it before a judge and let him decide based on the evidence. The only problem with that is if you do that, you don't win very often, because everything is well documented by ZBA. And they cross their Ts, put double dots on the I's. They just make
We've
sure
got our
everything's
rules, and
good.
our rules say this, and the judge says, well, that's that.
Right, and you can spend a lot of money too, you know, by taking it to court that way.
Yeah.
So anyway, normally things are decided in a very common sense manner with the Zoning Board of Appeals, as also the Plan Commission.
Right.
You know, they do the same thing, and if it doesn't fit the ordinance, then there's nothing they can do about it.
Right.
And speaking about something we can do about it, we'll be back right after this.
We'll be back.
If you're interested in sponsoring a show for OCTV, please give us a call at 248-628-9658 and we'll air a promotional video for your local business.
Welcome back to Minutes by Minute. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we are talking about the Oxford Township Zoning Board of Appeals that was occurring. And we're talking about signage for the new Culver's
Yep.
location, which is on M24, next to Tractor Supply. And John Nold, who serves on this board, excused himself because he's also on the Planning Commission. So, gee, he said, this kind of looks familiar, sounds familiar, is familiar. So he said, I shouldn't
I know
make a
way too
decision.
much about this.
So he excused himself, which was the right thing to do. Okay, so they did discuss the height and so forth, and you know, the size of these signs, and when all the smoke had cleared, not maybe all the smoke, but some of the smoke, after it left the room, they decided that the signage on the building itself, 3 signs, were fine. The menu board, they felt should pretty much remain the way it is. They didn't see any problems there. Any reason why it would be a handicap, if they couldn't make it fit, that'd be a problem. But they felt that it could probably, work okay. But the tall sign that they want to put out front, they want to make sure that that conforms. So,
What was the non-conformant part about it?
well, originally they were saying that they wanted it like, I think it was 9 feet above the ground, whatever. And then they had their kind of round halo thing with the culvers on it above that. So I believe the height was something like, 13 feet as a rule to 16 feet, something like that. 13 feet would be the ordinance, I believe. And they would have taken it to 16 feet. So they didn't feel that that was something that, needed to be done. But if something could change, I mean, they're going to look at it again. But if something should change, then of course that would change.
Is it a self-illuminated sign?
It's a self-illuminated sign, yes. Very much like the one you just mentioned over there at the other side of Lake Orion, or in Lake Orion.
You mean at Culver's?
At Culver's. That one. Yeah.
That one.
Culver's. Okay. So anyway, so they went through quite a discussion here, and actually the Culver's individual that's speaking was very much open to whatever is necessary to do here. He didn't get combatant, didn't whip out any of those bows and arrows and things that they usually send in front of the chairman. So no, I think they're going to be able to work with this. And it was pointed out too by the chairman that that's why ZBA is there and why Planning Commission is there, is to work with the businesses.
So does the owner have a timeline?
Actually, as soon as he gets his site plan, everything totally endorsed and approved, and the reviews have been made, they can go forward.
All right.
And so it's going to go through, and it's just a matter of short time here. When you'll see another.
Butterburgers are on the way.
See a Butterburger. Now there's an interesting thing, Butterburger. Now that conjures up images in your mind. Does it conjure up images for you too?
Not healthy ones, but
A healthy one. Once in a while, an individual should splurge, though.
I see.
And so you're driving, let's see, I want to splurge. Yeah, okay. Butterburger, yay! Let's go in here. So anyway, you'll be sorry later.
It's probably
maybe,
been offered for years and years and years,
Yeah.
and that's the way it's going to be.
Well, they're very tasty to begin with.
Oh, you've taken the dive.
I have. I've had that hunger pang occasionally.
I see.
As many of you out there, I'm sure, have as well. I know you have.
Yes, I have.
Okay. Now let's talk about the Village of Oxford Planning Commission meeting, and that was held on November 5th, 2019. Gary Douglas is the chair, and he does a great job, by the way.
I was going to say your research goes way back.
Yeah, it does. Well, we can pull it from the archives. You have it out there somewhere. I can say to this guy, hey, what happened in 1432? He'll look at, bam, right, got it.
Yeah.
Okay. That was before they had computers, though, so I don't know how you do that. I don't know.
There's a lot
People
of
are
paper.
asking that
There's a lot of
question.
paper stashed somewhere.
Right. So anyway, Gary Douglas is the chairman, and Rose Bama, she serves on this board, but she was absent, and because of the election, and there was an election for renewal of the millage for
Police.
Oakland College.
Oh, that was the previous
Oakland
one,
College. Yep. Yeah, that was the last one.
Yeah.
So soon you do not forget. Yeah. Okay.
I did vote on this, by the way.
You voted on it? That's good.
Did you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Were you working on the election board?
I was.
I was number 25.
Number 25. You were the last person through.
No, not really.
Not really? I'll tell you, it was very slow progress for every precinct.
Well, there were more workers than voters there. Let me put it that way.
Yeah. We're in precinct 5, and we have 2 precincts in the same building, precinct 4 and 5. And they actually outdid us. They had something like 45 people. No, they had 80 people.
We have a precinct right here in the senior center or the community
Yes.
center by Parks and Rec.
Right. Yeah.
I could tell because it said vote here.
Is that, you didn't come here, though?
I went to Brandon.
Yeah, right. Do they have buildings that they can do this in?
It was a school.
Oh, they got one good school. I mean, one good place to go.
Ooh.
Okay. Anyhow,
Just
so you
keep those
voted.
cards and letters coming in, folks.
Okay, but you did your whatever you need to do.
My civic duty.
That's it. And I'm really proud of you. Good job.
I'm proud of you too. Good boy.
Okay. Let's talk about the rest of the people on this board. There's Jack Curtis serves on the board, and of course he is a trustee with the township as well, and serves on several other boards as well, the Water and Sewer Board and some others. Maureen Helmuth, she was also absent, and she's a chairperson for one of the precincts. So obviously she wasn't going to be there. Justin Ballard serves on the board. Kelsey Cook and Leslie Pilak serves on the board. Terry Onika, village clerk, served as the secretary in this case. Okay, did the pledge, did the preliminaries out of the way. Agenda for November 5th was approved immediately with one additional change. Public comment was put at the end by the chairman. He thought that would be a good idea.
Oh, there were people there, weren't there?
There were people, yes. People who knew people and had people.
I love those meetings.
Yes, right. They did approve the minutes for October 15th immediately, and correspondence. No, there is some correspondence, but nothing that really impacted this particular meeting, so there's no motion given at all.
Oh.
I've never seen that before, but I guess that's the way you handle
Usually
it.
that consent agenda is just approved.
Well, Gary Douglas knows what he's doing, so I'm pretty sure that was handled properly. Public hearings, none. That's a neat little arrangement. No public hearings.
Well, that was, you just talked about that one.
I did. When?
You said it was moved to the back.
Oh, okay. Well, no, I didn't say the public hearings were.
Oh, what was it?
That would be where the public speaks on items not on the agenda.
And no one
And
hears
at
them?
the end of it-
And no one hears them?
No one hears them. At the end, that gives them an opportunity to really dress
I know,
things up.
I know.
That way. Okay, a public hearing.
It's called freestyle.
It is, right. Okay, that being said, we'll be back right after this, folks. Welcome back to Minutes by Minute. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kennedy.
And we are talking about the Village of Oxford Planning Commission meeting, headed up by none other than Gary Douglas. And now we've approached the position in this meeting where it says old business. Village Ridge condominiums, site plan review.
What's it called?
It's called Village Ridge condominiums.
Okay.
Okay. And it's on 425 Glassby. You know where that's at, right?
Oh,
It
there's
used to be on-
Glassby Street and Glassby Road. Which one is it?
Glassby Street. And that used to be owned by the village. Then they sold it.
Oh, okay.
And that's some interesting property they have there, because that was built on a swamp.
That's on the south side of Lakeville, Burdick Street, right?
South side of Burdick, yes.
Okay.
You are correct. And the short hop, skip, and a bunny hop down there. But it was used for storage and for other things for years, and there was a neat deal. They paid the village paid $700 and some thousand for it and sold it for I think $150,000. Buy high, sell low. That's what you do.
They must be going for volume.
I don't know what they're going for. I have no idea. But anyway, that was previous people that were on the board, on the village council.
Well, who knew?
Yeah, who knew? They didn't know then. They thought it was going to turn into a gold mine. They found out it was a swamp. They dug
well.
a tunnel, and what happened?
Isn't this the same site where another set of condos was going to be built?
Yeah, well, it was entertained by a developer who thought that they were going to build some, and then they pulled back.
But they had objections from some of the residents that are on that street,
Yes,
didn't they?
and there were some court actions taken here.
Oh.
Several groups. And I'm trying to think of what went down. But anyway, there's certain restrictions that were given
Okay.
and agreements that were established between the
I think these are
residents
less
and-
units than was originally
It is
proposed.
less than original, yes.
Okay.
Yep. And the reason why there's more now is because it was built in swamp, and they build a house and it disappears, they put another one on top. That's the way it works.
I see.
So anyway, that issue
Got a
came
lot of
up.
basements.
Yeah, but they actually put pilings in there before. And the homes that were built before the pilings went in said, hi, lo and behold, our basement is now cracked.
Oh.
Our pavement out front that leads to the garage is now on 2 different levels.
Could call it Little Boston.
Yeah, probably could do that. Yeah. So anyway, it's posed some real issues, you know, in that area. So the residents showed up in good force, saying that, you know, they want to make sure that they're going to do pilings. It has to be in a very careful, cautious way. That's not going to injure any of the other homeowners in the area. So that was discussed for some time.
There were other issues too,
There were.
volume of traffic, etc.
Yeah. Let me see, what else did they do? Oh, there's another thing that was going to be on the docket here, and it's TKMS hauler business expansion.
Oh.
And, but that's the last thing we'll touch on before we say bye to the public. Okay. Mario Ortega is the consultant, and he presented a history of the property, so that kind of what we've just been discussing here. And so that kind of was revealed and then hit the fan, and then he went on to other things. Condo Lane road grant agreement was approved as part of the consent judgment through the courts. And they had an issue.
That's a completely different issue, isn't it?
Yeah, it's part of this condominium
Okay.
organization, though, that road runs through there, and there's some questions as to the legitimacy of using some of that road, you know, for purposes to, I guess, run lines under and other things. So anyway, it was challenged in courts, and that's what came out of it, is a consent judgment. All documents to be recorded as position of all the lot lines had to be determined, determination of the setbacks and so forth for the building purposes. That was kind of, as I say, willy-nilly. Here comes a line, there's a line there.
Yes, indeed.
So they had to get that all straightened out as well. Visitor parking was another one. They originally said, well, there are not enough spaces for visitors. Where are they going to park? Well, they can park over to the neighbors. No, they're not going to do that. So they were able eventually, through some site plan rearrangement, provide 5 additional parking spaces. So that might help a little bit. And you got to make sure that if you go over there, you drive itty-bitty cars. No problem. Let me see, what else? Oh, some trees were removed, and they're gigantic trees, I guess mature, what you'd call mature trees. And they want to make sure that those are replaced, and maybe others be put in as well. Well, there's a speaker for the developer, and she said that they would be willing to pretty much go with a landscape arrangement as far as detailing it, because that was one of the things that came up from Mrs. Pilak, was that she'd like to see a detailed description of what the scape was going to be. You know, where the trees going to be, what size are they going to be, where's the poison ivy going to be. Should be poison.
You need to know plans like
sumac.
that.
Huh?
You need to know plans
Yeah,
like
you
that.
need to know that, yes. I mean, all the animals know where it's at. But people, they need to know too. So anyway, that Jack Curtis says, hey, I agree with that. We need to know where that prickly little bush is going to be. We need to know where, you know, whatever. So,
The devil is in the
yeah,
details.
and she said, you know, we can't really do a berm because there's,
Not enough room?
right. How'd you know that? And that's because apparently where they were going to run the berm, there's not enough room.
Oh!
Surprise, huh? Okay, so anyway, but they're willing to listen as to what the community wants and go with it, go with the flow. Then they said, well, what are these buildings going to look like that you're going to put in? Well, they said, well, they'll probably use vinyl siding, because they said there's been improvements to vinyl siding and applications, that kind of thing. So they can make it look really nice, now compared to what they had with the old vinyl siding, where wind would come and fall off the side of the building, that kind of thing.
Or hail would make it look like
hail.
a machine gun hit it.
Yeah, right. Oh, what are those little pokey holes all through there? And actually, there's a thing that's kind of going around that if you get hail, some roofing companies will come through these subdivisions and say, look at your roof, it's got little holes in it. You need to replace your roof. Don't fall for it, folks.
Or what?
No.
What will happen?
Well, it doesn't have little holes in it. And you've got asbestos, or not asbestos, asphalt roofing on it. It takes the hit. It doesn't, you don't end up with like meteor rates going through it.
I see.
Yeah, it's not like that at all. Now, siding can be a problem. It can damage your siding pretty badly. That's been my experience when I was in the building business. But that there are companies that would say, yeah, I got to replace your roof. If you actually get up in the ladder and you go up there, the roof is fine. I had a guy that came by my house and said that, and I said, oh, really? And then
Does
he
that
backed
apply
down.
to old asphalt tiles
Well,
too?
if it gets old, it'll start to turn color and start to roll on the ends, and then you got ice problems too, coming off the gutters, and
Does that
you
make
can
it more
tell.
susceptible to hail?
No, they'll just start falling off and
Oh, well,
that kind of thing.
I think our house is shedding.
Right, okay. The last thing that they want to talk about here is that the expansion, for TKMS. And they didn't have all their information in order to make any decisions this evening, and they had nobody representing them. So that
Is
pretty
this
much
expansion on
wrapped up.
land they already own?
No, they're going to tear down an old building. There used to be a storage building, and they want to rebuild another one. And what's going to happen is they have also underground tanks which have to come out. And Pete Schultz, as a fire chief, is concerned with that. They have to get permits with it, and they've drawn the permits apparently from the state to do that. But he's watching it very closely. Good guy, Pete
Yep.
Schultz. Okay, what do we got coming up?
Well, we have several meetings actually. On 11/18, November, at 6 o'clock, Addison Township Board, and at 6 o'clock, the Village of Oxford, DDA, Downtown Development Authority. Take your
I'll be
choice.
there.
And on 11/19 at 7 o'clock, the Village of Oxford Planning Commission. And on 11/20 at 3 o'clock, the Pollyant Trail Management Council will be meeting at the Village of Oxford offices.
I'll be there.
He's everywhere, he's everywhere. At 6:30 on 11/20, Oxford Township Board. And on 11/21 at 4:30, the North Oakland Transportation Authority, known as NOTA, will be meeting at the Oxford Township offices. And at 7 o'clock, the Village of Leonard Planning Commission.
Very well done. Well, this is Minutes by Minute. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
Catch you next time right here.
See you then.
We here at OCTV cover the local events and government meetings of Oxford, Addison, and Leonard. We also produce and edit programs for you viewers out there. With the leadership of our station manager, Bill Service, we have been a very successful team, winning awards from the state of Michigan for Best Electronic Media, giving attention to our local veterans. We also won awards for excellence in directing and educational programs. With the help of our great new equipment and our technical directors, we write, produce, and broadcast our local news for you. Without our production manager, Terry Stiles, our channel and station wouldn't be the well-oiled machine it is today. She coordinates the editing assignments and shoot schedule with our editors and camera people. OCTV and its communities make a great team.
Welcome to Oxford Community Television. We are proud that our 4 communities continue to choose local programming, local news, sports, community issues, familiar faces, celebrations, and commitment to each other. Welcome to Oxford Community Television.
Catch us anytime on YouTube. Go to Oxford Community Television YouTube.